Meanwhile, just 13 hours from right now, the head of the IRS is going back to Capitol Hill for round two of a grilling. It's interesting, the government, the the House Oversight Committee asked on Friday, hey, the guy, the lawyer in charge of knowing how all the email stuff works, can we have him come up here and talk? The IRS said no. So last night, the Oversight Committee sent to the IRS commissioner 15 specific tech questions they want answered at the meeting. So they finally have some answers.
Yeah, the chairman of that committee, Darrell Issa, actually sent over these 15 questions with some sub-questions in there, understandably so, that they want answers to based on the fact that Americans here appear to have been targeted prior to an election in terms of tax-exempt status. Therefore, no one is exempt if this proves to be true. But they can't prove anything yet because they can't find anything yet. We've got someone pleading the fifth, and we've got emails gone lost. One of the questions of the 15 may be, what about this private company that actually logged all of the emails and archived them?
Yeah, I would say that's a big one. But what I got from reading the 15 is one theme. I don't believe you. And I'm not even sure this thing crashed. It is questions like, provide the data of the failure, the type of failure. Was it software or was it hard drive? Can you tell me whose job it was to recover these? Who first reported it? How did you learn it? So they're saying, listen, so far all we have is your word that they crashed. Can you tell me what you did to get it back?
Sure. But the gigantic news was yesterday it was revealed that apparently there was this company based out in California called Sonasoft. Ever since 2005, they have been archiving the email of the IRS. That's fantastic. In fact, Sonasoft put out, there was this tweet in 2009. If the IRS uses Sonasoft products to back up their servers, why wouldn't you choose them to protect your servers? And what's interesting, though, then, is the fact that shortly after there was that epidemic of crashing hard drives, which was about the time that Dave Camp, the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, inquired of the IRS, hey, are you targeting executives? It was about that time the IRS said, you know what, Sonasoft, we've been working with you for years. Goodbye, we don't need you. Subsequently, it looks like all of those email backups probably destroyed.
Seemingly a little suspicious.
But wait a second.
A little suspicious.
But wait a second. If you hire me to archive your emails, and then you unhire me, fire me, what obligation do I have to keep those emails?
Because they are of a confidential nature, I would imagine they had to destroy them.
That's going to be a key, right?
Well, sure.
I mean, when the Sonasoft executive, why would the Sonasoft executive not respond to a request to appear in front of the Oversight Committee? So let's just get one of those executives up there.
According to the Sonasoft.com's website here, they quote, in terms of their business description, archive all email content to reduce the risk of noncompliance with legal, regulatory, and other obligations to preserve critical business content. By that definition alone, this information should be readily available.
It would be great if Sonasoft still had that stuff, but because it was of a sensitive nature and people's personal data, they probably were required to get rid of it. It could all be a coincidence that Lois Lerner's hard drive crashed and those 600 people involved in the investigation, they all crashed. And it could just be a coincidence that they severed the relationship with this company, even though they've been doing it for years. Could all be a coincidence. I just know that if this were a Republican administration, I would imagine the New York Times by now would have called for the impeachment of the president.
Well, and perhaps they're thinking, well, the punishment for the crime of a cover-up may not actually be as long, as deep, as harsh as that for perhaps punishing Americans for having a political opinion.
And E.J. Dionne, a liberal columnist, actually said the same thing. He said, I can imagine if Republicans, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, but not one Democrat stood up on Friday, much to I think, America's chagrin, and said, wow, this is outrageous. You have to come across and be honest about this. You were kind of down on that prospect. I was optimistic. You ended up, sadly, being right. Let's see if the Oversight Committee would sober up and realize this is unacceptable.
Tonight, 7 p.m., fire up the grill for a grilling of questions there.
Indeed. You'll see it here on Fox during Greta. Meanwhile,